Hello everybody, this is Dr. Joe Borio with this week's Thought Flash. And first off, it's a new year. Last week we talked about goal setting and 3 goals, 1 personal, 2 professional. We talked about coming up with 3 reasons as to why and 3 action steps that you want to take. So I hope everybody took advantage of that in wishing you a happy new year. New year is resolution time. New year is a new beginning. What's great about a new year is you can kind of cut off all the stuff, all that baggage that we all carry, including myself. You lug it around. Geez, I made a mistake here. I didn't make a mistake here. I made a mistake there. Or some of the challenges you had that year, you can kind of reflect against that. Some of the failures, at least that you think you had, I like to think as failures as experimentation. Failures are you experimenting, sometimes re-experimenting, relearning, making the same mistake more than once. I've done the same thing myself. So look at that as far as last year and draw some strength from some of the victories and draw some strength from some of the failures, because guess what? You're still standing, right? I'm still up, I'm still standing, and I had some challenges last year as well. And you want to start looking forward as to where we're going, both as a profession, as a chiropractic profession. Some of you, maybe that's too big of a thought because you're thinking, you know what, Dr. Joe, I'm trying to survive through next week. I'm trying to get through the next month. I'm trying to get through the short term. Maybe it's trying to get through the next hour, the next day. So I want to talk a little bit today about marketing. It's a great time to set a marketing strategy. Your marketing strategy comes from your perspective. In other words, what you view as the world, your prism almost, as far as what you're viewing the world through. And one of the problems we have as anyone that runs a company, chiropractors, because of our independence, we kind of get hung up on being our own CEO, and we look at everything through our perspective. The problem you have with that is it's not their perspective. Call them clients, call them patients, call them members of your practice, whatever you want to call them, and wherever your headspace is at. The bottom line is they're customers. You've got a great product. It does involve healthcare. It does involve saving people's lives, but those people are coming in to buy a product. We call that what? Lifetime family wellness, right? But what is the perspective? I want to use an example of perspective in this challenge. I'm going to talk about a company for a minute, and I want you to sit back and think about it. What company had been around 100 years, started with mechanical products, and moved into electronics? Been around 100 years, it was the top company in their industry by far. It's 10 times larger than any other company that was a competitor. Been around 100 years, 10 times larger than any other company. Dealt with mechanical, a product that was first mechanical and then electronic. So think about that. They were the first company to come up with grammar check. First company to come up with electronic dictionaries. First company to come up with spell check. First company to come up with electronic correction. First company to come up with a laptop word processor. You thinking? You thinking? What company was that? You ready? Smith Corona. Smith Corona came out with 100 years ago a typewriter. And their perspective, again, the perspective of Smith Corona was to be the best typewriter company, the best typewriter manufacturer in the planet, or on the planet. And they actually succeeded at that, right? They were the top dog in the game. Then what happened is they started to see electronics coming in, and they started to see that with word processing. So they actually paired up with a company called Acer, A-C-E-R, you guys probably have heard of that. And Acer worked with them to come up with computing with word processing and computers. But they said, you know what, we don't want to deal with computers. We don't want to deal with them. In fact, I forgot to say, Smith Corona was one of the first companies to come up with PDAs. Can you believe that? PDAs, personal devices, right? So they didn't want to do that either. So they actually killed the deal and they went their separate way. What happened was Smith Corona, within 3 years after that, killing the deal with Acer, went bankrupt. And Acer became the 4th largest computer company in the world. Why do I share that story? That was actually shared with me. And that is that they were stuck in their own perspective. The perspective of Smith Corona. Their mandate, if you will, their mandate of purpose, was that of to be the best chiropractor. Where I think we are in trouble as a chiropractic profession, and where you may be in trouble in your own practice if you want to grow, if you want serious growth, is if your mandate is that of aches and pains, my neck hurts, my back hurts, and so forth. If that's your mandate, if that's what you're thinking your perspective is, you may be the best chiropractor to treat, and I don't like to use that word in practice, but if you're rendering care for neck and back pain, you are treating, it's allopathic in mindset, there's a beginning and an end to it, you are limited in your mandate of purpose. Because the only people that will think of using you are people with neck and back pain. Number one. The only people that think are using you are people with neck and back pain. Number two, people will get better with their neck and back pain. 99% of people walk through your door will get better with neck and back pain. Number three, the people that will choose to use you also are under the influence of seeing other people. And not only that, they're also under the influence of being sabotaged by other people. They're also under that customer, if you will, that patient is also now a prospect for other forms of treatment. They go to the pain clinic and get spinal blocks, injections, physical therapy. They can see a physiatrist. They can do acupuncture. They can do massage. They can do home exercise. They can buy self-help back units that work at home. They can do inversion tables. I mean, all of those apparatuses, other forms of healthcare providers offer care to treat back pain that helps people with back pain. I mean, I've been a chiropractor for 20 years. Everybody that comes in with a backache doesn't necessarily get better with their backache, right? So that is mandate of purpose. See, what is your mandate of purpose? A computer company, Microsoft and so forth, came up with the idea that they wanted to be where any idea of human thought wanted to be recorded, that's where they wanted to be. Any idea of human thought in any format. They weren't limited to the idea that they actually had to type it. And as a result, their mandate of purpose grew. And it didn't come out with a recording thought, it came out with a recorded thought. So now you've got dictionaries and data and creating words and creating documents, and now it's PowerPoints and everything else. And now what happened is their mandate of purpose became worldwide and accepted, and the Smith Corona became, if you will, the chiropractor who treats back and neck pain. What is your mandate of purpose? So coming into this year, running out of time here, I'm going to ask you to come up with a new mandate of purpose. And with the one I want to share with you that I've used for 20 years, that have certainly served me and the people I serve really well, is lifetime family wellness. Guys, it's for a lifetime, it's for every family member, and it's truly for wellness. There isn't a better product out there that we can offer as a chiropractor than the adjustment. That doesn't mean eating well isn't good for you and exercises and all that, but you're a chiropractor. So what do? You're trained in the idea of the mechanics and the anatomy and the biomechanics and the structure and the neurology and neuropathophysiology of the spine and nervous system. And by adjusting those people, you change their neurology, you change their lives, you change their families' lives, and everyone they come in contact with. That's the beauty of what it is that we're taught. It's the beauty of what you have in your hands. So I ask all of you, starting this new year, to increase your mandate of purpose to as big as you possibly can, so that every human being on planet Earth understands and receives the idea of what it is you offer as a chiropractor. Guys, this has been Dr. Joe Borio. Happy New Year to everybody out there. Remember, love and serve the people that come into you, that ask you to be the best chiropractor you can. And remember, may your innate flow from above down, inside out. Have a great week.
My best friend gave